Okay, the next trait is persistence. If someone is variable, that means that, they might get an idea about something that's important to them, and they might really stick with that because it's really important to them. But they can also be flexible. They can look at the other person's point of view and measure it up and say, okay, the older they are, the better they are at being flexible. You might have a child, or you might be someone who's very flexible, so you could work your way down to a 1. Someone who's very flexible can say okay to things. They don't get into big power struggles. They just seem to be very easygoing, kind of almost laid back in a way. That might be something in your partner maybe that you fell in love with. Oh, I fell so in love with him. He was so laid back. And it will be the one thing that will drive you crazy in about, 2 years into the marriage. Can't you get excited about anything? Don't you care about anything? Don't you fight for things that are important to you? Don't you have an opinion? You know where I'm going. I'm going to work my way up to a 10. Someone who is persistent is someone who, when they have an idea, it's very hard for them to change their minds, to let go of that idea, to be flexible. This is someone who gets labeled stubborn. And what do you think the parenting pitfalls are that go with parenting a child who is very persistent? Lots of power struggles, lots of this. And so, you may find that with your persistent child, you feel a little bit wishy-washy because you might try to say no to things and set some limits and then find yourself caving, giving in with a frustrated, fine then, take the cookie, go to Kate's house, get the tattoo, you little 4-year-old. Someone who is persistent, well, what about you? It's harder to look at your temperament traits. Are you persistent? Are you somebody who, for example, when you're looking for something, you're like the pit bull? You just keep trying to find whatever it is that you're looking for. I am the pit bull. Someone who is persistent, again, is somebody who just knows how they want things to play out, and it's very hard to change their mind. Oh, okay. So some of you might be persistent too. Interesting, what happens when you have a persistent parent and a persistent child? Yeah. And so we can teach children that we do relationships by butting heads. Rudolf Dreikurs, he wrote Children, the Challenge in the 60s. He talks about the mistaken goals of children in order to belong. In order to belong, children's mistaken goals are getting negative attention from the parent, so lots of negative attention getting. That could be really great for the distractible kids, knowing that they can just go and get you to engage with them and take you off track from what you're doing. Oh, this really works. I can just do really irritating things like make silly noises or play with my food at the table or pick on my brother or sister and, oh yeah, look at that, my parent pays attention to me. All right, cool. That's how I belong.